So we have discussed about the primary rules of interpretation, rules of interpretation. So out of primary rules of interpretation, first rule is a rule of literal construction. Rule of literal interpretation. So what is the rule of literal interpretation generally? So ये क्या है sir? What is meant by rule of literal interpretation, right sir? What is the rule of literal interpretation? So listen carefully. Sir, what is meant by literal interpretation? Generally, sir, in any act, sir. Sir, in act में they can use some words, they can use phrases, sir, they can use sentences. Whenever any act, okay, sir, according to this rule, what is that? This rule clearly says that if any statute, if any act, they can use the words, they can use the phrases, and they can use the sentences. Then these all words or phrases or sentences understood, yes, sir, understood. How, what way you can understood, sir? Means either their natural meaning or ordinary meaning or a popular meaning or a grammatical meaning. So whenever you wanted to go through with the act, we read the act. Whenever in the act so many words are there, in the act so many phrases are there, so many sentences are there, these all words or phrases and sentences, you have to understood either in the phrase, what way you can interpret, what way you can understood, either in the natural meaning or ordinary meaning or popular meaning or grammatical meaning. This is the way you should understanding the words, phrases and sentences. It means read as it is. Read as it is. Sir, every act, sir, we go through with the Indian Contract Act, we go through with the Negotiable Instrument Act, we go through with the Companies Act, we go through with the General Clauses Act, whatever may be the act, whenever you go through with that, the act consists of words, phrases, and sentences. These all words, phrases, and sentences you have to understood as it is. Means as it is means what way you can understand what is the natural meaning of that word, what is the ordinary meaning of that word, what is the popular meaning of that word, what is the grammatical meaning of that word. Based on that only you have to understood, unless okay, so unless the object of the statute specified a specific meaning. Object of statute specifies a meaning. So what is the example for this? Best examples. So how you can understand. So according to the act, the Sales Tax Act. Sales Tax Act. What Sales Tax Act clearly says that, okay, sir, whenever sale and purchase there, you have to pay the tax, no? In that and that particular, then there is an exception, the green vegetables. Green vegetables. So green vegetables are exception for the sales tax. There is no need to pay the sales tax on the green vegetables. So in this scenario, whenever you can apply the literal meaning of this particular act, what is the green vegetables? What is the green vegetables? Sir? So literal meaning, sir, literal meanings is ordinary meaning, general meaning, grammatical meaning. What is the green vegetables? Whatever the vegetables we are. So out of that, what is my question? Sugar cane. Okay, so sugar cane is a green vegetable or not? That is my question. Tell me, sir, then what the sales tax clearly says that, then you can liable to, whenever sale and purchase is there, you are liable to pay sales tax. But what is the exception in that particular act clearly says that green vegetables are accepted. So green vegetable का मतलब क्या है sir? You know ordinary meaning, general meaning, popular meaning. Yes, we know about that. What is the green vegetables? What is the natural meaning, ordinary meaning, popular meaning, and the grammatical meaning of the green vegetables? What is that? Green vegetables in the sense normal vegetables we are. But in the what is the question? Says sugar cane is a green vegetable or not? That is my question. Okay, so sugar cane is a green vegetable or not? So in this scenario, what happened, sir? What happened? There is a Motipar. So Motipar Private Limited versus State of Bihar case law. According to this case law, this private limited they can what happened? They can sell a sugar cane. They can sell the sugar cane. So is the what is the general means? They cannot. The motiver private limited cannot pay the sales tax. But what state of BR clearly says that sugar cane is not a green vegetable, then you are liable to pay the sales tax on that. Like the state of BR demanding the sales tax from the private limited. Then in this scenario, what Mutipar Private Limited clearly says that, sir, I am applying a natural meaning, a literal meaning, literal interpretation. What is green vegetable? Green vegetable, sugar cane, sir. Sugar cane is related to the green vegetable or not? Like that, they can apply the literal meaning of construction. Then sugar cane is also its general meaning, ordinary meaning, popular meaning. Sugar cane, you go through the dictionary, what is that? Then say one type of vegetable only, then the literal meaning is nothing but the sugar cane is also a vegetable. Then companies need not to pay the tax. But at that point of situation, what the sales tax act clearly says that they're clearly mentioned in the act. Sugar cane is not a green vegetable. So what is literal construction? Literal construction generally, sir, whatever the words we are using, whatever the phrases we are using, whatever the sentences we are using, you can understood those words, phrases and sentences as it is, as a natural meaning, ordinary meaning, popular meaning and grammatical meaning. As the way only you can understood, as the way only you can interpretation of statute. But when, sir, whenever the object gives any separate meaning, then you can follow. Then in this particular sales act, that clearly defines Babu sugar cane, yes, as per ordinary sense, as a grammatical sense, as a natural sense, then that is a vegetable. But we are clearly says that sugar cane is not a green vegetable, then you can follow that. That is nothing but literal construction. Literal construction means we can read the statute as it is, we can apply the general meaning, we can obtain the popular meaning, we can obtain the natural meaning. Based on that only you can apply. Or the law gives any definition, then you can apply that definition only until unless the law gives any any separate intention, separate definition, you can apply literal way of construction. Yes, sir, literal way only construction. But this is the literal rule of literal interpretation. And also, sir, when this rule is applicable, so what are the situations this rule is applicable for a statute? So whenever the words are used, the phrases are used, the sentences are used, those are having a only one meaning. Those are clear words. Those are unambiguous words. The words are using, the phrases are using, the sentences are using in the act. Those are having a clear meaning. Those are unambiguous words. There is only having one meaning of that particular word. Then only the literal interpretation is applicable. Otherwise, literal interpretation is not applicable. Whenever the words are not clear, whenever the words are having more than one meaning, whenever the words are ambiguous, then literal rule of interpretation is not applicable. This is the basic rule of interpretation of statute. Okay, so whenever the words or phrases or sentences are used in the act, are clear words, clear phrases, and clear sentences. Those are unambiguous words. Those words are having only one meaning. Then at that point of situation, only you can apply that particular meaning, that general meaning, that popular meaning, that grammatical meaning. There is no ambiguity. Then literal interpretation is applicable. When literal interpretation is applicable, sir, whenever the act is not define anything, then only the literal interpretation is applicable. Whenever the act may define what, act may means they are giving directions to that, then literal interpretation is not applicable. Whenever the words are ambiguous, literal interpretation is not applicable. Whenever the words are having more than one meaning also, literal interpretation is not applicable. This is the primary rule of literal interpretation. Clear as literal interpretation. Clear? Any doubt? So based on literal interpretation, there is one case law is there. What is that case law, sir? Rule of literal interpretation. Municipal board. Municipal board. Municipal board versus state transport authority. State transport authority. So listen, what is that? What is a simple situation? What happened in the year of 4/12/1959? 4/12/1959. What happened is, so in case of 4/12/1959, the regional transport authority pass a resolution. What is a resolution? For shifting of bus stand from one place to another place. Okay, so from one place to another place, what happened 1/12/1959? The regional transport authority, okay, sir, they can pass a resolution. So what happened whenever they pass the resolution in that particular area, two residents in that particular area, they can approach to the state transport authority to set aside order of RTA to stop the order of RTA. Okay, sir. Then like that, what happens, sir? These two residents, they can approach the state transport authority. Please stop. Okay, sir. Please stop that particular activity taken by the road transport authority. But what happens, sir? After that, what happened? These people, when they can approach the 18 to 1960, they can approach to the state transport authority. What happened 13/4/1960? What happened, sir? What happened? The five bus operators, okay, sir, five bus operators approach to the state transport authority. Please cancel the RTA process. RTA can take the resolution, or they can shift the bus stand from one place to another place. Then out of that, first of all, two residents are there, went to that state transport authority rejected here. After that, 13/4/1960, what happens? Sir? 5 bus operators are approached to the State Transport Authority. Please stop that activity. They can approach. But what happened? 28/6/1960. What happened? RTA issued RTA issued a public notification. A public notification. Public notice shifting of bus stand. Okay, so shifting of bus stand, then that is a public notification is given RTA on 28/6/1960. Whenever 28/6/1960 RTA issue the public notification, then after that what happens? This public notification published in the official gazette 14/7/1960, that is published in the official gazette. Published in official gazette. Okay, sir. So generally, what is the situation, sir? What is the situation? What is situation? Then the out of that, what happened? The municipal board of that particular city or town, they can approach the high court. Approach the high court. High court dismiss the petition. After that, the municipal board approach the Supreme Court. Okay, sir. Then in this scenario, what is this particular system? Why this rule is related to that? According to the State Transport Authority Act, whenever you can shift the place within 30 days, okay, so within 30 days, you can approach the court, then only court will take an action, then only court will decide. Within 30 days only you can approach. So within 30 days should be counted. So within 30 days should be counted from which date? So within 30 days you can approach to the court, then only court will take an action. Literal rule of interpretation. What happens, sir? You can read the rule as it is. What the rule clearly says that whenever a State Transport Authority Act, whenever you shift the state transporting place, then within 30 days you can approach. So within 30 days, where you can calculate? 30 days from which date you should calculate, sir? So from the knowledge of the order or a date of order. On which date you should calculate the 30 days? From the knowledge of the order or date of the order, then which date you should calculate, sir? The law from the knowledge or the date of order. So date of order is passed on which day, sir? Date of order is passed on this day, sir, 1/12/1959. When the knowledge 28/6/1960, that can be public notice. This is the date of knowledge. Then which day you should approach the court? So within 30 days from the date of order or within 30 days from the date of publication. So law clearly says that what is the literal rule of interpretation? You can read the rule as it is. What is the ordinary meaning, sir? It is nothing but the date of publication. Not from the date of order, the date of publication you should calculate it 30 days. Then they can approach within 30 days or not. The date 28/6/1960, that is the date of the application. Within 30 days only we should. Then only the application is revised. Then only the application is taken by the court. Whenever you can approach the court after the 30 days, court will not take an action. That is nothing but literal rule, sir. What is literal rule? Generally, you can read the rule as it is. The words, sentences, phrases you can read as it is. Whenever you can read the rule as it is, you can apply the what meanings, a general meaning, popular meaning, means a normal meaning, and you can apply. When you can apply this normal meaning, sir, whenever the words are clear, the words are having one meaning, the words are unambiguous, then only you can apply literal rule of interpretation. Otherwise, you cannot apply the literal rule of interpretation. So this is the thing in our material. What is there? We can go through it at our material. So primary rule, basic rule of interpretation. When it is applied, it statute that the states that statute should be interpreted. The statute should be interpreted according to the clear words used and ambiguous words used. Then only it should be followed. So where the words of language uses statute is clear, okay, sir. That is the reason why we cannot add anything, we cannot subtract anything, we are not omit anything. You can read the law as it is. What is literal rule clearly says that we can read the law as it is. Whenever the clear meaning, whenever popular meaning, whenever general meaning, whenever there is no ambiguity, then at that point of situation, we cannot add anything, we cannot remove anything, we cannot omit anything. Okay, sir? Children, sir? Okay, clear. There is nothing but literal rule of interpretation. Okay, sir. Next, sir. Next. So next we have discussed about whenever literal rule of interpretation. Next, sir. Next, sir. Mischief rule, Heden's rule. Very important. Sir. Mischief rule and Heden's rule. What is mischief rule and what is Heden's rule? So whenever before discussed about this particular rule, we wanted to discuss about four facts. So whenever you wanted to discuss about mischief rule, you wanted to know about the four facts must be considered. These four facts must be considered whenever you go through with the mischief rule. First of all, what was the common law? What was the common law before making current statute? So before making this act, suppose Companies Act 2013 is formed. Before making Companies Act 2013, what is the common law in that? So Indian Contract Act 1872 is, so before making 1872, what was the common law in the current statute? What is the common law? And what was the mischief? What was the mischief? What was the wrong in that particular law? So in that particular law, okay, so what was the wrong? That the common law did not means cover them, so need to the special. What means common law cannot cover the things? What is the need of special law? Okay, so what was the wrong in that? Then what is the remedy? What is the remedy? What is the remedy provided by the parliament? How they can solve that particular thing? Remove that wrong. How they can remove the wrong? And what is the reasons for that? What is the reasons, explanations for removal? What are the, so whenever you wanted to frame the new rules and regulations, before mischief rule and before Heden's rule, you have to find out these four facts. Okay, so in order to frame the new rules and regulations, what was the common law earlier? In that particular law, what is the loophole? In that loophole, how the parliament overcome that loophole? What is the remedy? What is the reasons for that particular remedy? You have to identify. Okay, so you have to identify. So for better understanding, we can discuss one case law. In that particular case law, you have clearly understood. What is that particular case law? Smith versus Hughes. Smith versus Hughes. What is that? Simple, sir. Listen. What this case law clearly says. So listen. So according to the section 1, subsection 1 of the State Offences Act. Street Offences Act. Offences Act 1959. It states that it shall be offense. It shall be offense. It shall be offense. What is offense, sir? It shall be offense for common prostitute. For common prostitute to solicit influence, to solicit the people in street, in public places, in public places, in street or public places for prostitution. So this is the rule in the Street Offences Act 1959. It shall be offense. What is offense, sir? Any common prostitute, they cannot solicit the people in the street for that prostitution activity or in the public places. Okay, sir, in the public places. This is the act. Okay, sir. What happened? What is the facts of the case? What is the facts here? One of the prostitute, Teresa Smith, is a prostitute defendant. So prosecuted for soliciting the men. They're soliciting the men passing in that particular street, passing in the street from, okay, so passing in the particular street, attracting the from, okay, so men passing in the street, attracting them, inviting them, passing the particular street, they're attracting them and inviting them, okay, sir, from balcony. The Teresa Smith is there as a defendant. What happens, sir? Sir, the man, she is soliciting the man passing in the street, inviting them in the house, which was considered as an offense under section 11 or not. Then according to that, she is convicted. She is convicted and she is punished. Penalty is required. Then in this scenario, what Teresa Smith is arguing in the court of law, what law clearly says that it's when it is offense, whenever I am soliciting in the street, I am soliciting the public places, then only that is offense. But here I am soliciting where it is not a public place, it is not a street. I am soliciting in from my house balcony. How balcony is a public place? How balcony is a street? It's not a street, it's neither a street nor a public places. How can I solicit, sir? How it is treated as an offense as per this act? This is the loophole in this particular act. Loophole, sir. This is the wrong in that particular act. This is the wrong in the particular act, sir. That is the reason why it is not considered as an offense. Then she is not punishable as per this act. This is the wrong. This is the loophole in this particular act. So at that point of situation, the court held that the court decision. What is a court decision, sir? What is a court held that? Right, sir. Right. So court held that. What is the decision of the court? So they can go through with the literal. First of all, they can go through with the literal rule. They can read as it is. What the street is there and public places is there. Then as it is, a literal rule cannot give a proper result. That is, a literal rule gives some wrong in that. Based on literal, there is a loophole in that. Then at that point of such court, there is a mischief rule. Okay, so court applies a mischief rule. So here court held that, sir, here yes, we are go through with the literal rule. We cannot achieve the proper purpose. But what the law clearly says that the court will says that literal rule is not applicable. Here we go through with the, sir, what is the main purpose of the act? So here public place street is not important. What is the main purpose of the act? What is the intention of the lawmaker? Sir, to stop the prostitute activity. Wherever the street or public places, whatever it may be, to control the prostitute activity, that is the purpose of the act. Now, literal rule is not applicable. Then you can go with the beyond that. What is the main purpose of the act? The main purpose of the act is nothing but to stop. Okay, sir. Place is not an important to stop that these type of activities. Then it is treated as an offense. Then it is treated as an offense. This is a court judgment, sir, not as per literal rule of interpretation. There is a huge. Okay, so what is a before law, sir? What is that law? Common law. Before common law, there is no common law. What is a mischief in the rule, sir? Is nothing but soliciting of trespasses. What is the act in the previous act, sir? State Offence Act. Okay, sir. That is the things we have to. So four factors we have to consider. What are these are the four? What was the common law before making current statute? Before State Offences Act, any act is there? There is no common law. Yes. What was the mischief, sir? Mischief in that common law, sir? What is a mischief, sir? There is a state act. There is a street and public places. Is there then balcony is not a public place? There is a loophole in that. What is the remedy, sir? Then what parliament, the law clearly says that. Then what is the main intention to stop the prostitute activity? Wherever you can conduct, that is not important. The remedy is providable. What is the reason for that? The main reason to stop the prostitute. This is a mischief rule, sir. We go through with that. You can clearly understand. So it's a rule of beneficial construction. It is also called as mischief rule of interpretation. It is also called as Heden's rule of interpretation. So whenever you go through with this particular rule, you should have four parts. You can what it means this rule can be applied when the law is passed or previous act is amended. The judge has to find out what is the mischief loophole in that. So these are what was the law before making this act? What was the loophole in that? What remedy of that act? What is the reason for that? Based on this all, you should go with the okay. So you can interpretation. You can go through with the normal literal meaning. Literal meaning cannot give a proper result. Then you go through with the that. That is nothing but the rule of harmonious. Harmonious is nothing but that is effect, sir. Initially there is a mischief rule. After that you can answer. The act was made to stop prostitutes from inviting in the street. That is the main purpose. The question arises whether the act can apply prostitutes who attracted attention of passengers from balconies. Literally speaking, soliciting from balcony do not amount to inviting the street. However, held inviting from balconies will amount to soliciting in the street. Act was made enable people to walk in the street without being harassed, and hence the place from which the prostitute address solicitation is irrelevant. But the place is not irrelevant, then the mischief is there. In order to overcome that mischief, then you go through with the construction. This rule states that statute has a read as a whole and interpretation consists with other provisions in the act should be adopted. Statute be read as a whole, different provisions in the same act should be inconsistent. This is an example for mischief, sir. Mischief. Okay, so not related under a harmonious construction it is given. It is not an example for harmonious, it is a mischief. Okay, sir, mischief rule. Clear, sir?